Hi, my name is Jessica Pro. What we're going to do today is talk about how to do the system. Not only talk about it, we're actually going to do a little bit of HVAC on this Jeep Cherokee right here. So this system right here, it already has refrigerant in it, but if you were to refill it, you would close these both knobs, high and low side, and you would hook the tank up with a hose, and on the other end of the hose you hook it to the tank internally inside here, and you would turn the knob and it'll put the refrigerant over inside the system. But first off, it's a simple machine. It's very easy to use. First off, of course, turn the system on. We got a cool tech. As you can tell, the system has a scale in it, so it's telling us that the refrigerant is low inside, and it's telling us that it has 1 pound and 12 ounces inside the refrigerant container. But we're going to go ahead and use it because the vehicle has more than 1 pound to put in the system, and we can easily put it back in the system without making it low refrigerant. So first off, you want to take your lines. You got high side and you got a low side. One's red, one's blue, so you can tell the difference. Another way to tell the difference is one is smaller and one is bigger than the other, so you cannot possibly mess that up at all. So let's go ahead and hook these up. So high side will go right here, and the low side will come back here. Sometimes if you're having trouble putting the connector on either the low or high side, make sure you turn it counterclockwise to back the pin back inside the connector, because if you have it all the way out, then you're pushing against the either the ball or valve stem that's inside the line, and either one, it's not going to allow you to hook that connector on there properly, or two, it's going to spray refrigerant at you. So if that happens, make sure you wear glasses at all times. So first off, open these up. Well, first off, I'm going to close these down. So now I tightened the knobs down, so now you got the little valve stem that's inside the connector, push down on the little ball that's allowing refrigerant to go inside these lines. So it's putting pressure through the lines. So you open these up and it gives you your pressure. So right now we're going to start with the recovery. So press recovery. Well, get rid of this on the screen, so no. And it's going to tell you select function. Always start with recovery, so you're pulling refrigerant out of the system. So now it's going to pull whatever's inside that system out, and it's going to tell me on the screen how much it pulled. And once you're doing that, say you're either low on refrigerant or too high on refrigerant, and you don't know where to look to find the right amount of refrigerant or what refrigerant to put back in your system, if you come over here, on this Jeep Cherokee, it is right here. This is the location. The type of refrigerant that you put inside this system is R134A, and how much you put in here is 24 ounces. So this is this location. It even tells you the compressor oil. That's the location of this sticker. On other vehicles, it'll be in a different spot possibly. Now, I know we're doing a smaller car. This is not diesel. You understand that, but to be honest, there's not really much difference between systems. I mean, of course, you got a smaller vehicle, larger vehicle. It's just the stuff on a semi. It's just a larger scale. The hoses and everything are a lot farther apart from each other. So more refrigerant will have to go through there, and there's more oil to be in there. Speaking of oil, we're going to talk a little bit about that. If you look down here, this is an oil container. When this is recovering and pulling refrigerant out of the system, if the refrigerant brings oil with it, it'll go inside this container right here. So before you're doing your recovery, either you have a empty container, or if it's, say it's at 7, mark the line, or just try to remember where it's at, and when it gets done recovering, you can come back and see how much oil came out of the system. And when you go do your charge, you put a little bit of the oil back so the pistons inside the compressor don't burn up. You have oil in there just like a car motor to keep everything lubricated. You don't want no friction, which causes more heat, which causes damage, and later in time probably either seize or disintegrate or blow up. And if that happens, if it starts to seize or starts to scar the walls, they'll send metal particles through your system, and if that happens, then you're going to have to replace your entire AC system, and that is very expensive. So make sure you pay attention to how much comes out of your system. So we got 2 minutes, and once the 2 minutes is up, we'll be right back. Alright, we're back. The machine's finally done recovering. It pulled a little bit of refrigerant out of there, so this system was low on refrigerant. So that's going to make your high side of the system really up high and pressure-wise, and the low side won't be as high because it's low side, but it will slowly climb up. Especially when we're down in Florida, humidity is really high up down here, so the high side will wrap up pretty quickly. So now what we're going to do next is we're going to do a vacuum. So what that does is it's going to suck all the air and everything out of the system. What it does, when it does that, when it sucks all the air out, it's not only doing that, it's sucking moisture or anything like that. You do not want water in your system. If you get water in your system, it will corrode everything inside, especially your compressor. If it corrodes anything in your compressor, it will more likely seize up, and then metal particles could possibly be everywhere in that system. Then you have to replace everything, and then that gets very pricey. So what it's got now is it's going to tell you select function again like we did the recovery. So just press vacuum. It's going to check pressure. Alright, so the vacuum right here, it says 10 minutes, but we're just doing a video, so we're just going to drop it all the way down to 5 minutes. It doesn't really have to be that high up. I mean, the minimum I would do on anything if you're in a rush would be 5 minutes. So did 5 minutes, enter your time, then hit start, and now it's going to start pulling the suction, which if you look over on the low side, it shows your mercury in inches pressure, and you want it to be near -30. I mean, if it's on -30, that'd be awesome, but if it's close to it, like say 27 all the way to -30, that's fine. While this is doing a vacuum, another reason why they use refrigerant on a lot of things on these systems is because if they put water in there, of course it's going to mess up a lot of things and stuff will corrode. But not only that, you have to have oil in the system for the compressor, and oil and water do not mix. They will separate from each other, and oil will not be able to travel through the system to lubricate everything. So they come up with refrigerant to allow the oil to circulate through the entire system to lubricate everything. Refrigerant takes the oil and actually circulates through. So that's what helps the compressor out with the pistons moving and going through the system. It's at 3 minutes. We'll be right back to talk about the charge. Alright, we're back. The machine's done doing its vacuum on the system, so now we're going to go back and go to charge, which that's going to take the refrigerant that it pulled out of here and put it in the system. Before you would do that, you would normally fill up a little bottle, and you would stick it, or you fill up a bottle of however much oil that you lost, and you put it on a connector and put it through the system so you can lubricate your system. But we already did that, so what we're going to do now is hit charge. Alright, so now we're on charge. We're going to set the amount of how much is going to go in the system, which we're just going to do 4 ounces. So still got to go back. Alright, so we're at 4 ounces right here. Now we're just going to hit start to begin. It's going to start pushing refrigerant back in the system. Now it's going up. You got your pressures going. And there you go. It's all done. So now you're going to press start to equalize the hoses. Now I want you to disconnect the high side of the hose. And you put this back. You don't want these to be dragging on the ground, get any dirt in them, so you don't want any dirt in your system. So now once you do that, press start, or first you need to go start the vehicle, then press start so it circulates the refrigerant. Alright, so right here it's telling us once the high and low side pressure is lower than 40, which they both are. go ahead and disconnect it. So let's go ahead and do that. Once you're done putting your hoses back, you're done with this machine, always make sure you put these caps back on because you don't want no dirt getting in there, because if dirt gets in there, it will cause it to stay kind of open, and then that'll cause a refrigerant leak. So once that is done, press start. It'll tell you to clear the hoses, which that's going to suck the refrigerant out of the hoses and put it back in the tank. So hit yes to that. This is going to start clearing. While it's doing that, let's come over here real quick. To make sure that you did a proper test, you would take a thermometer, or if you got a DBOM with the Fahrenheit and the little wire, you would put it on or inside the air vent. You would turn it cold AC, and you would turn it either mid or low, so that the blower motor is sucking the air and it's making the air go slowly through the evaporator core. The slower the air goes through the evaporator core, the better it'll cool down the hot air inside of your vehicle. Once you get in a hot vehicle, of course, you want to kind of crank the AC full blast, let it kind of get somewhat cold, and once it gets somewhat cold, if you want to get a lot colder, you turn it down. Because a lot of people think, oh, if I turn it up, I'm going to get colder air, which is not true, because it's not allowing that air to go through the evaporator core a lot slower to cool down that air. You're not putting cold air inside the vehicle, you're taking the hot air and transforming it into cold air when it passes through the evaporator core. But once you're done doing that and this reaches, say, 50 degrees, 48, 45, that's pretty much a good system. You did it correctly, and that's about it.